Okay, now speaking of the ruination of one's legacy, let's talk about P. Diddy, Sean Combs. My God, he is in a whole ton of trouble. And it goes well beyond even what's in the indictment, which includes charges for racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Under racketeering conspiracy, they allege multiple acts of kidnapping, arson, bribery, forced labor, prostitution, illegal sex activities, possession with intent to distribute, narcotics and controlled substances, including cocaine and oxycodone, alprazolam. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it goes on, and so on. And now we're seeing other people come out and other facts come forward, including the publication on Amazon of what purports to be, this is another story where we're putting an asterisk on it for the audience, purports to be a book with the words of his dead ex-partner, who is said to have died from pneumonia. But this woman, if you believe Kim's lost words, that's what it's titled, this woman, when she knew she was dying, said, quote, "He got me," which would suggest she thought she was dying at his hand in some way. This is an explosive 60-page cobbled together Amazon book by a man who says he's received her journals and memos from a friend of hers that she reportedly sent her final thoughts, which documented the relationship to some extent, to multiple friends in the hopes that it would be maintained and be out there if anything should happen to her or if she should pass. And at least one of them came to him, and that he was also offered the sex tapes that this woman said she had in her possession. Now, I am connected with somebody involved in this case, and I did ask that person, do you believe there are sex tapes in the possession of the authorities? And this person said, absolutely. Do not know what exactly they show, though, at this point, but that there's no doubt that the feds have sex tapes of P. Diddy's. So that's what we'll kick it off. What do you make of Kim's lost words and this indictment in general?
I mean, I've read really salient portions of the book that names names. It all tracks. It feels to me very much like Nicole Brown Simpson towards the end of her life, where she put all of this evidence in a bank. And she said to her friends, if anything happens to me, open that security box. It's all in there. And that's what happened. And when you look back at P. Diddy, I think he's going away forever. I don't think he'll see daylight again.
I agree with you.
He has a very long history of criminality dating back to 1991, a City College event that he promoted. It was a stampede. 9 people died. The youngest was 15. He walked scot-free. He viciously beat a record exec named Steve Stout in the mid-90s, got away with it, made a record executive, another one, crawl on all fours with a gun to his head. And then, of course, there was the infamous nightclub shooting in 99 with J-Lo. And that's covered in Kim's book. And I remember when that happened, and everybody covering that story knew he was guilty. Everyone knew. And they knew there was a rapper named Shine who was his so-called protege. He was going to make Shine take the fall. And it's still talked about in hip-hop circles on hip-hop albums to this day.
Shine did take the fall.
Shine took the fall, did the time, got out. I think he's in South America now.
10 years. That was the sentence. And the victim who got shot in the face has been saying ever since, it wasn't Shine. It was P. Diddy. I saw who shot me. And yet, no, if that's in fact what he did, he totally got away with it. This other guy took the fall. This would be a proven history of not just violence, but, attempted murder. And possibly worse. I mean, the indictment itself goes on about his alleged arson against someone who he believed was flirting or sleeping with his later girlfriend after Kim, Cassie. That this was Kid Cudi. Thank you. I'm not too up to speed on my rappers. Kid Cudi, that he dropped a Molotov cocktail in his car and blew it up. I mean, that is extremely dangerous stuff. And we had a prosecutor on the show a special that we released the other day, saying just the guns and the drugs alone, if they can just prove that, forget all the sex stuff, he'll be in jail for life.
Mm-hmm. Good for him. It's exactly where he belongs. You know, I've been reading this stuff. Did you happen to see, oh my God, the Post had this amazing piece last night from a drug dealer who had delivered to one of Puffy's parties in the Hamptons.
Oh boy.
And the dealer walked in and he said, Puffy waved me to a back room and I'm seeing all these male rappers like having sex with each other and it's like an orgy. And the dealer goes, I lost complete respect for Puffy in that moment. And I thought, well, when you've lost the drug dealers of the world, I think you've lost America.
I mean, we do need to spend a minute on the gay thing because it appears pretty clear Puffy is gay. Or I don't really think bi is real. I just think you're either one or the other, and you kind of you may have a little journey over to the other side, but you've got a predominant preference, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
and his appears to be for men,
100%,
which undermines like this tough guy image that he is constantly projecting. And I have to say, like, there's quite a bit of testimonial about what he's been doing to these so-called male sex workers and men coming up in the music industry. And that is a disturbing piece of this Kim's book, where she alleges that there were a couple of young, very well-known rising pop stars that she has him on tape either having sex with or abusing, depending on the age. I can't tell exactly how old these guys are. That, if that's true, it's going to be huge news.
It's going to be huge. It's concerning, I think, if those names come out for those people. To your point about Puffy largely being gay, I think it's salient because I think it explains the extreme misogyny, the beatings of the women, Cassie especially. We've all seen that videotape.
Yes.
The mutilating of them, the threatening of them. He hates women. And I think people sometimes make the mistake when talking about separating the art from the artist. It's all over his work. The violence, the misogyny, the threats. He named his company Bad Boy. You know, it's all over it. There's one artist who worked with Puffy, Diddy, whatever, as a young man. Usher went on Howard Stern several years ago, I think. Remember that?
Yes, we have this soundbite. Let's watch it. This is Usher on Howard Stern. Oh, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Slot 23.
I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
You were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Okay, you were saying Usher on Howard Stern.
There's that. I mean, he's basically saying what we are all reading now. There's a famous clip of Puffy that's resurfaced with a very young Justin Bieber saying, I've got custody of Justin for 48 hours, and what we're going to do, we cannot divulge. I mean, these guys tell you who they are. They may do it with like a wink and a nod, but they're telling you this is a bad, dangerous guy. And I knew he wasn't going to get bail because it goes beyond, is he a flight risk? Will he turn over his passport? This guy was going to intimidate, beat, or worse, any potential victim who's thinking of coming forward.
Yeah. That's what the assistant U.S. attorney was saying. You cannot trust him. He will tamper with all the witnesses. He will threaten them. He will intimidate them. You did not vote for this economic downturn and the high inflation, but you could be paying for it at the pump, the grocery store, and with growing stacks of unpaid bills. Financial stress can be crushing, and one solution could be donewithdebt.com. Done with Debt created new, aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy or loans. Done with Debt can stand between you and bill collectors. They negotiate with your creditors to write off balances, cut interest, and stop penalties. And the best news is Done With Debt is accepting new clients right now. But you do need to hurry because some of their debt relief strategies are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Let Done With Debt hit the debt reset button for you and make your money yours again. Visit donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054 now. Chat with one of their debt relief strategists for free. That's donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.